Hey, this is Brian Stillman. We are coming back to you live from NAB New York. We're in New York City at the Jacob Javits Convention Center. I'm here. We've been covering all day all sorts of technology, all sorts of people involved in the broadcast world. And now I'm with Wesley Willis. He's with you have a show called The Nurse Doc.
Yes, I do, Brian.
He's both a doctor and a nurse and a broadcaster and a producer. So he's kind of covering like 80 different hats
Yes.
in your scrubs.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about The Nurse Doc. What is that?
So the Nurse Doc was kind of like a brainchild of mine. Being a nurse and also being a doctor was just to kind of bridge the two together and like create this show really around kind of like health, wellness that has just really like grown into like broadcasting, production, because I think that a lot of times patients, everybody, we're all affected by healthcare in some way, whether it's somebody we love or we're gonna all eventually be sick and need it. So I was like, okay, so I created this Nurse Doc to kind of like bridge that gap of knowledge between like healthcare professionals and regular people.
So is it a place where your viewers can write in with questions, can interact with you in terms of addressing medical questions? Is it more like talking about topics in the news having to do with healthcare, a little of both?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both. So it's using like social media platforms. So we stream live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all of those big major things to different viewers. Like I have like over like 1,000, 1,300 subscribers and stuff like that who basically write in and say, hey, you know, I want to know more about this topic, or I have a question about this particular issue that I'm dealing with in the same way. So a lot of it's mental health, a lot of it's like it's spiritual health.
You were in the medical profession, now you're in the broadcast profession. I got to ask, what happened? No. Why shift away from that? Why get into this side of things? Why get into the broadcasting?
Well, I think that, again, a lot of regular folks, just lay people, my own family, who don't work in the healthcare field,
Right.
have a lot of just basic questions. And again, a lot of basic questions and fears about going into the hospital, about interfacing with a healthcare practitioner.
Okay.
And it was just to kind of like, again, create more exposure and more conversation about something that affects so many people.
What kind of learning curve did you have getting into this profession, into this field?
Wow, it's like grew exponentially. Again, this thing turned from like a little, like me turning on to a DSLR to me owning like, again, Red cameras and like production switchers and lights and like Pelican cases. So it was a big, huge, learning curve. I came to NAB because of that particular learning curve.
What made you comfortable making that leap? You know, like you said, huge learning curve. You were in an established profession. What made you say, I can do this. I can make this work?
Well, honestly, the thing that really just made me do it is just looking out like on things like YouTube and social media and just seeing people like who are unafraid and unapologetic to like say, hey, I have a message and this is the perfect opportunity for me to take advantage of that. And I was like, hey, you know what? They can do it and they can turn on the camera and do it. Why can't I?
Here's the thing. The technology has changed so much over the years. The point of entry has become much easier. You can just pick up a DSLR. Every camera out there today can shoot something.
Right.
And you don't have to start with a Red camera. You don't have to start with like an Ari, you know, an Alexa or something like that. You can come in at a level that is comfortable for you, both from a technology point of view, from a budgetary point of view.
Right.
Did that take some of the fear out of it, seeing how many sort of entry points there were to make it doable, to make it usable, to make it something that you could work with?
Definitely that did make it a little bit more kind of like comfortable because again, like I was talking to Michael earlier, my first entry was with BeTerrific and I love them, but it was like really like technical and I was like, oh my goodness, and so I think that over time I've just seen so many things that just become so easy for people like me to kind of pick up and read some instructions and say, okay, that's how to work on live.
So what are the types of questions that you get? You know, can you talk a little bit about some of the things that people are bringing to you?
Yeah, definitely. So like just a few weeks ago, we had a conversation about teenage suicide because it's been on the rise, especially in young men, like between the ages of like 14 to 18. And not that they make the attempt more, but they're more likely to be successful.
Right.
And so it's a hard conversation to have with your teenager
Sure.
when they say, I'm really frustrated or somebody is bullying me. And these are regular conversations that teenagers now feel comfortable about having, or saying to mom, I feel depressed, or mom, somebody's bullying me and I don't want to go to school. So like I had a mom who wrote in and said, you know what, I don't know how to talk to my teenage son. And he spoke to me about this, so what can I do, and just being able to tell them, like, hey, be open, be
Right.
supportive, and don't be too pushy, don't be afraid, don't call the police.
Right. Where are you out of?
So I'm out of Long Island City.
Oh, so you're local. You're
I'm
local NAB.
Exactly.
All right. Now, if people want to check this out, where can they find you online?
So I'm online on the YouTube, Facebook, again, Instagram, all at The Nurse Doc. So it's all one word because they don't like spaces.
Right. The Nurse Doc, NURSEDOC, preceded by the word the. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
NAB?
me. I'm loving this. It's like I'm like a kid in a candy store.
I know the feeling. All right. We are at NAB. We're getting close to the end of today's coverage. I'm Brian Stillman with BeTerrific, BeTerrific.com. Stick around. We have a little bit more before the day wraps, but we will be back tomorrow. Stay tuned.